Oh, and what a reason you'll have one. But I didn't on her shoulders, walk through the flood water, you get used to the house. And bumped into.
All right, good evening, everyone. This is the City of Sugar Land Parks Board meeting. It is 5:30 on May 14th, 2024. And I'm calling this Sugar Land Parks Board meeting to order. Please note that this is a meeting that's open to the public and is recorded as per the Texas Open Meetings Act, which is available to the public. So the first, sorry. Let's see, one of the first items on the agenda, just want to make sure that we have any public comments. Yeah, thank you very much. That being said, we'll work on to the Roman numeral 3 workshop. The first item we have on here is a review of and discussion of the City of Sugar Land's 2024 City Manager Strategic Plan, all inclusive and vision, presented by Shaylee, Director of Strategic and Government Affairs. Shay?
Thank you all for having me. So I wanted to kind of talk you guys through the City of Sugar Land's vision, because we have kind of talked about doing this trailblazing vision and efforts, and walk you guys through kind of what those initiatives look like, what we've been working on, and just how that kind of shapes the different work that you guys have done. Okay. All right, so just a little bit of background, you guys know this, but I like to throw this in every presentation, but a little bit of background about City of Sugar Land. You guys know we have over 100,000 residents. One of our previous citizen satisfaction surveys showed that 95% of our residents enjoy living here, and that there's 10%, the 10% of them said that there's definitely a change about the City of Sugar Land. And while that is great, we absolutely love that our residents love being here, that visitors love coming. We still recognize that we must continue to evolve as an organization, as a city, to continue to thrive. And so with that, the 2024 strategic plan speaks to the different initiatives and efforts that we're making to continue to evolve. So laying the foundational areas, so City Council sets strategic outcome areas for us. And so those 8 areas are reflective of community priorities. And so those are kind of our goalposts and where we aspire to be as a city. And so that sets the foundation for every single initiative that our organization embarks on. And I'll go through the 8 of those. And so they're not in any particular order of importance. They're just 1 through 8. There are 8 of them. Okay, so the first one being, finding strong and viable. So this one is about how we're being fiscally responsible with taxpayer dollars. So this one is every city aspires to ensure that we are being efficient as possible, we're being innovative as possible, we're being resilient as possible. And so this one speaks to fiscal responsibility. And I will hide, can I hide before we get down? Okay. 2, community safe and secure. So Sugar Land prides ourselves in being very safe, one of the safest cities in America. And so things that we focus on is making sure that we leverage the best technology, whether that comes in infrastructure or IT related things, making sure that our staff has the proper training, making sure our EMS and fire and the police also has the resources they need to be successful. And so that's just kind of different things that we work on to ensure that we are one of the safest communities. Number 3, economy thriving. So another thing that Sugar Land prides itself on is our entrepreneurial spirit, making sure we're in an area where businesses can thrive. And so we actively seek out different relationships and partnerships that we can to make sure that we're being the best partners that we can in our community. 4, culture, dynamic, and fun. And not only do we want people to like living here, but we want people to have fun while they're doing so. And so different things about the performance venues we have, adult sports and recreation, different retails, outdoor celebrations. So all of those things are things that we strive to make sure we're creating an environment that is fun and dynamic. 5, so this one is about our government, and when we say government, we're talking about the way that we run our city, making sure that we're being very collaborative with those people in the region and those other different levels of government, and that we're making sure we're operating at the most efficient level. We're focusing on people over politics, and just making sure that we're being innovative in our governance and our commitment to the public. And then 6, when it comes to transportation, we want to make sure that we're focusing on being connected and convenient, especially if we're talking about these redevelopment areas, long-term sustainability. We need to make sure that we can move people. And so making sure that we focus on technology, the maintenance of different infrastructures, and just all of these things to make sure that our transportation is connected and convenient. And that also takes the form of different partnerships that we have, because obviously you guys know that people don't just stop at a line. So we have to work with the county, we have to work with the different state agencies and all of those things. 7, so also infrastructure. So as we know, Sugar Land is an aging infrastructure community. And so how we focus on the maintenance of the different roadways, the different streets, all the infrastructure related things that we have in our community, and the different partnerships and collaborations that we have to do to make sure that that's possible, as well as funding opportunities that we have to explore as well. And then the last one, people welcoming and engaged. So not only do we want to have an area where it's fun, but we also want to be inclusive. So the different opinions, the diversity that we have in our community. And so making sure that any opportunity or engagement or events that we're putting on, the people that will be impacted by it are the ones that are understanding that, and we're creating those open dialogue and spaces. So those are the 8 areas that are the foundation for every single thing that we embark on as an organization. And so now kind of transitioning into what does that look like in action for us? And so those are kind of the goalposts that City Council set. And then our vision and values are the path in which our organization achieves those goals. And so with that, introducing the organization's vision. We are trailblazers, relentless in our pursuit of good, so that we can pursue a life better than our employees, residents, and businesses can even imagine. So we wanted to keep it short, simple, to the point, to kind of allude to the point that we are striving for excellence in every single way that we provide services to all of those people that are impacted by it, both internally and externally. So that's why we do have a focus on our employees, because we believe that we have to invest in our employees for them to be able to invest in the community. We also wanted to show you guys what our organizational values are. So you know, these are kind of the guiding principles as we provide every service. We're thinking about how can we be bold? How are we thinking outside the box, being innovative? Loyal, it comes to how are we being loyal to the city's vision? How are we all contributing to being trailblazers? How are we all putting our best foot forward to make sure this organization is successful, as well as this community? Adaptable, we recognize that the world changes, that the dynamics going to change, the environment's going to change, needs are going to change, but we focus on being resilient and making sure we can adapt for those changes. And then zealous, so this is just kind of our commitment to excellence. We understand that we want to set the standard. We want to be the ones that others look to. And so zealous is being one of our organizational values. And then the last area, empowered. So in order for us to be successful in being able to serve the community, how are we giving everybody the resources that they need to be successful? Okay, and so I just always throw this one up here because as we talk about like trailblazing internally and externally, people always think that it has to be kind of these monumental ideas, robots walking down the street. It could be all of that. Trailblazing is just about being curious, exploring new ideas. How do we create efficiencies in our day-to-day work? So trailblazing could be all these great grand things, but it could also be the small efficiencies in our day-to-day work. So we just like to throw that up there to kind of show everybody what we're talking about and what we mean when we say trailblazing. Okay, so we talked about the outcome area, so that's the foundation that City Council has set for us. And then we talked about the vision and values, the path that we get there. And now we have to focus our efforts. And so these next initiatives are what we call all in. And so this means that all of our organization is committed to making sure these priorities are successful in any way possible. So every department has a role to play, every staff member, every way we can support it. And so I'll go through kind of what those are. I put this QR code up there if anybody wants to scan it, but because this goes to the page in which we're tracking the metrics of these different all-in initiatives. And so I'll kind of talk about each one. So the first one, you guys have probably heard us talk about redevelopment a lot. Commercial residential redevelopment is going to continue to be a priority for our city because we are at the stage of our life cycle where we have to continue to find more opportunities to thrive. And so whether that looks like different investment in opportunities like our Great Homes Update or Design Program, where we're trying to incentivize different community members to invest in their redevelopment, whether that take the form of other projects that we're working on when it comes to our Imperial Storage District. Just making sure we're having specific efforts to be able to focus on redevelopment. So that was pretty broad. A lot of things fall into it, but that's just one of our top priorities as a city. And then the second one, data-driven and decision-making. So every city has data, everybody utilizes data, but we're trying to make sure we're using it to the best of our ability. And so our city has embarked on this journey of trying to achieve what we call a What Works City certification. And so this is an official Bloomberg certification that different cities can achieve if they demonstrate how they're utilizing data, how data is in different initiatives and their funding sources and all the above. And so with that, kind of a portion of that is the QR code that takes you to the portal where we're tracking the progression of these all-ins is a part of that because we've created an open data portal where you can go up there and search different data sets of departments. You want to know how many inspections we've done in a year. You want to know how many open records we have on specific public files. All those things, you can go to our website, data.sugarlandtx.gov, and up there you can be able to look up the different departments' data sets. The third one, so prioritizing future capital investments. So you guys may be aware that in our city's history, we've had 3 general bond elections where we focus on different large scale projects, the last one being 2019. And so we're finishing up some of those projects and now we're trying to figure out what are going to be the next large scale investments that we make in our community, whether that could be infrastructure, facilities, different things like that. And then the last thing is more focused kind of internally, but I also wanted to share with you guys, our last large scale initiative is called Trailblazing Organizational Culture Change. And so that one is about the investment in our employees. It's taking the form of, we have paid parental leave, we now pay for CDL license certification, we're working on different language access certifications, and so different things like that of how we're continuing to invest in our employees. Okay, and so this is kind of the summary of all of it. So again, city council sets those outcome areas, those goalposts, and then our vision and values, the path in which we try to achieve it, the all initiatives of where we focus our efforts, and then performance takes the phase of the different dashboards, the metrics, different things like this, having conversations with the community and how we're holding ourselves accountable for it. And so with that, I will open it up for any questions.
Any questions from the board?
The QR code, I can,
Oh, I will.
the picture was noise, I could take it, but is that, you said I can find it online
Yes.
too?
So you can go to City of Sugar Land homepage and then you'll find Sugarland Insights is what the portal is called. But then also if you want a direct URL, it's data.sugarlandtx.gov.
Okay,
I think there's a post right here with it, right? There was like a post earlier.
That's for city parks.
Okay.
Yes.
Click on that too, though.
Yes.
I can send it to you tomorrow.
Any other questions?
I do have a question in regards to the redevelopment for commercial and residential. You work with other departments in order to, the city actually. Does the city actually go to developers and commercial developers, residential developers to initiate or at least look at ideas to redevelop certain areas? Or is that something that the city just waits for developers to come to the city?
We have existing relationships, so not necessarily, we don't necessarily go to them, they'll come, it's just existing relationships and we try to understand what our city's priorities are and those kind of form out of that. So those conversations form out of that.
I'm bringing this up because specifically the Imperial Sugar Plant area. I mean, that's a stalled development. I was kind of curious on, I'm not sure if you know anything about that, the status of it.
We do not have an answer to that, but we can work on a follow-up in that area that kind of works out with that.
Okay, that'd be great, because I know we talked about this before in terms of that whole area, because there was development and plans before COVID, and of course, COVID stalled it. After that, we had no idea what was going on. I think there was some discussion.
Community planning and redevelopment. We do have a new department for the community planning and redevelopment. Their main responsibility is to connect with developers or other stakeholders to look at the redevelopment potentials. I think we can have some updates from that department, but they have been working on that Imperial property and also some other projects.
Yeah, a part of that too, of course, we're responsible, at least as part of the board, the parks that around, and there's that small park, the pocket park right on the north side of the main. Exactly, and then I think there was also discussion of maybe even expanding it further south to the development with the developer. I'm not sure if that's why I'm bringing it up. I'm just trying to see if there's going to be a possibility of expanding the actual park itself. Any art installations or any such of improvements to that area, because it's a stalled situation and just curiosity of where we're sitting, that's all.
Well, we'll get an update from that department to kind of generally provide for the group.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it. Any other questions or comments?
I like your idea.
Me too. I want an update.
All right, well, thank you very much, Shayla.
Thank you.
Appreciate your update on that. The next item we have on here is the review and discussion on updates of civic arts projects. Shay Davis, Civic Arts Manager, will be presenting. I think that's that QR code that, you saw it stand. I was kind of curious about that too.
So, I'm Jay. I don't know if you've met me. I've been here a while now, or around a year and a half. And then I have Evelyn. She is our coordinator in the division now. She joined us in November. So about us, I know you guys recently saw that we changed our name from cultural arts to civic arts. And the point of that was in order to kind of revision the way that we were approaching public art in the city. Public art in most cities is more of a nuisance for residents. They feel like we just make things, plop it out, and don't talk to the community about it. And so that's one of the things that we wanted to revise when it came to the way that we approach public art. So our mission is really to cultivate a vibrant and inclusive cultural landscape that actually kind of speaks to the community about what it is that they're looking like, having what they would like to see before we actually initiate any public art. And our vision overall is to establish Sugar Land as a model city where civic arts flourishes, fostering creativity, diversity, and unity among its residents. We envision a future where every individual is inspired to participate in and contribute to the diverse tapestry of our community, creating a life better than they can imagine. So overall, our goals, and I'll give you a high level point of this because I know it's a lot, but we want to promote accessibility and inclusivity, enhance cultural engagement, and it fosters sustainable growth. The plan behind that is really speaking to the community and finding out what it is again that they're looking for. A lot of cities deal with maintenance issues around destruction of public art. This is usually because the public art wasn't desired to begin with. We want to foster this desire to have it, but also this personal responsibility to protect that piece. So these are projects that we've been working on. I'm pretty sure everyone's already seen the TE Harmon piece that we just finished last month by Devonna Simpson. That piece is based on generational knowledge passed down from the older generation to the younger generation. So as I said, it's out in front of T, it's at the back of TE Harmon. You can see it at the farmer's market, and it just got completed. This is going up in Sugar Land Airport. The painting started on May 7th. So this will be the next install there. It's about Fremont. This is going up in Smart Financial Center. That one starts, it started now? It's already started. So this one's going up in Smart Financial Center, right in the back when you go backstage. So that'll be our second and final piece in that location. Right now, we are running RFPs for traffic boxes for teachers. So we have been doing phases of traffic boxes. This one is specifically for Fort Bend ISD educators. When we went over and we spoke to the Fort Bend ISD educators, a lot of them feel like they're teaching art and not getting the opportunity to show the children that you can still be an artist afterwards. And we want to show the community, like your teachers still paint, they don't just teach you how. And the way we're going to do that is place pieces throughout the community by the teachers that teach our youth. We have Summer of Sound. It starts in 2 weeks. It'll be at Oyster Creek Park. It's a 6-week music festival. It's completely free. So we hope to see you guys out there. It's good seeing. This is Make Music Day. It's on June 21st. This is an international celebration of music. It started in Paris back in 1920 in what they call the third space. That's when they started placemaking in Europe. And it was designed to bring the whole community together to play instruments and celebrate music. It spread to the United States in the 70s. I think Houston's on their 4th one. So this will be our inaugural participation in this festival as well. Oh, and let me go back, because the cool thing about this is, even if you're no good, you can still participate. I don't know how to do that. Even if you're no good, you can take your ukulele, and we will have a microphone and you can perform. So this is not for professional musicians at all. There's an open mic, we'll have karaoke to close it out. So it is really, really for everyone. There's gonna be school teachers out there teaching instruments. We'll have some free instruments on hand that we just got in. And so if you wanted to come out and learn recorder, you can do that. So this is like completely for everyone. Anyone can participate in this event. This is gonna be our community mural. It's going up in First Colony Mall. That one starts next month. It's in design phase right now. We are gonna be bringing buskers to Imperial Farmers Market, so we'll have live music out there every Saturday. And this is a celebration of our year in art that we had back in December. So we did have our first arts gala. We had quite a few arts organizations join us, including members of the Parks Board. And so I got a couple of photos from that. It was absolutely stunning. And we were able to bring all of the artists that we worked with last year and bring in some of their actual canvas work for you guys to all see in the gallery. And this is our focus for 2025. It's called Cabin Sea Sugarland. We're gonna be looking into actually putting up temporary installations. That's a huge focus for us. We wanna put up pieces that kind of change with what's going on in the community, pieces that change with the seasons, things that people can interact with. We're gonna continue our functional art series, which is benches that we did last year. So we're gonna be continuing all of that work, but we wanna make things that residents can actually interact with, but also track data, which is super massive because it goes back into what Shay was speaking about earlier, and not plopping things out without being able to track its performance. We're gonna be working on a modular installation. This is a STEAM program that we're rolling into Fort Bend ISD. We're gonna actually start it in smaller communities. And what we'll be doing is actually allowing the children to design what they feel like the city of Sugar Land would look like if they could sketch it themselves. After they make those sketches, we'll be able to refine them and send them off to a CNC printer. They'll print off the wood, they send it back to us, and we assemble all of the modular pieces using just a mallet. And children of all ages can participate in that. These are PARCS outside in Town Square, and this is where a lot of those pieces will be featured. We'll be looking at more play art, things that kids can play with, and we can get feedback from their parents, from them, and actually give them the opportunity to touch tangible pieces and interact with them. So one of the biggest things is proper maintenance on our pieces. We are really focusing on that. Last year, we had a conservator go out, that's her up in the air, looking at the vortex outside of the airport. And we had her come out and look at all of our pieces and tell us what needs to be fixed, how much it's gonna cost, and what that looks like timeline-wise. And we are focusing very heavily on engagement, getting out into the community, participating. Down right, you'll see we're at Miami Art Basel. That's where we kind of started doing the modular furniture. We went on a lot of public art tours, meeting other arts administrators and finding out what they're doing in their cities that actually is working. So what does this mean for our city? We're trying to create a sense of belonging, not just in adults, but in the youth. That's how we continue that redevelopment, because it doesn't stop with us. What happens 30 years from now, they have to continue. It won't be in our hands. So us creating that sense of belonging starts with us rolling these programs into Fort Bend ISD, us also inviting the children to City Hall and engaging with them in a real tangible way. Not only that they can feel, but that we can track and see that movement happening. We want to instill community pride. A lot of these pieces we're putting out, we're having conversations with these neighborhoods and finding out from them, what do you want to see? How do we memorialize your, even Mayfield Park, we're having conversations with them. How do we memorialize Mayfield Park? What do you want to see? We're not going to just go there and plop something. And in doing that, we're building that community pride. And then obviously mental health benefits. As you already know, art serves as a powerful tool for uplifting people. The more art we have around, the least likely we are to see the rates that we have currently in suicide continue to rise the way that they are. And again, with the civic engagement, our hope is to continue to promote art, to have workshops where not only the youth, but even senior citizens can get their hands on things and actually start to move. We want to bring crochet clinics to the senior center. There's so much that we could be doing art-wise that could start people to moving their hands, starting to create again if they hadn't created in a long time. This is the Mayfield Park conversation I was having earlier. So we are going to be doing a collaborative creation with them. We're going out on Memorial Day to participate in the Memorial Day celebration and have conversations. But we want to really focus on a historical tribute that pays homage to the rich history of Mayfield Park. And then we're going to end that with a community celebration, letting them know that we're here, we see you, we've always seen you, and this is the way we like to honor this community. the container competition, and we're doing that with William. So this one's gonna be with the Sugar Land, Little League. It's gonna be an open call. There are 2 containers out there. They've been out there a while. So we're going to allow graffiti artists to come up with really, really cool designs. But today, our question to you is, what should that theme be? So we have a couple different things. So in talking with obviously Parks and Recreation, in talking with the Little League, one side is definitely gonna be baseball themed. But the other side, we're thinking nature. So with that, we're thinking, do we wanna be animal focused, some fun color saturation, hyper realism, or 3D? If you'd like to vote, you can scan here.
Interactive presentation.
All right.
So Shay, can I comment on this?
Absolutely.
So just for some background. So the skate park has 2 trailers that are side by side that have been there for ages. And they own their own, we found out, the Little League, and they're on our property. And I've been looking at them for 2.5 years.
Is that working for you?
Asking instead of payment plan.
Oh, no. Yeah, no, it did, it worked earlier.
It did work earlier.
Oh, no.
$35 for unlimited QR code.
Because your vote, we can just vote here. I mean, so-
We typically have discussion
Yeah.
and then question. But the background is that the shipping containers need to be painted anyways. They say China on them right now. It stares at the skate park and the church across the street. It just doesn't represent us very well. And I don't think that the league is gonna be just jumping for joy to relocate them. I don't really have anywhere for them to go. People kind of felt like change, so when they have something, they don't like to get rid of things. Even though my mom like throws away all the things that I don't like. When things get cluttered, and I would like to do that. So we thought outside the box. I got with Shay and said, how can we make these trailers, these Connex boxes, shipping containers, a little better? And thankfully, our team got back with me and said, wait, we think we can make a community event out of this. We can get them paid, and with some community input and the league. Well, Sugar Land was happy to participate. And it's not over. We still need to form a team to select that. And the league will be part of that. And they have signed an initial agreement that says, yes, you can paint our trailers, our shipping containers. And I'm so happy. I wanted this for 10 years. I'm sure. And we were told that means signing back there. That I'm so excited with I mentioned this to several our managers in the past, and everyone was excited about it, but then we took it to the next step. And Shay and Nicole have taken it to the next step, and so here we are today. So I'm very, very excited that Shay took my idea and ran with it.
Okay, you're not asking for an actual consideration, an action, this is more opinion and conversation.
This is more opinion and conversation. We've learned so at least somewhat of a consensus on one of these, so that she can work on forming how the panel is going to pick the 2 artwork for the 2 sides. This is general consensus and feedback opportunities.
Yes.
So I got a question.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Leads to like helping us decide and see, like form an opinion.
Absolutely.
So the side that it's gonna be like, the side that we're helping to form the opinions. Is it engageable? Is it an area where people can?
Absolutely.
Like,
yes.
like remind me exactly, is it like?
Yeah, it's right next to the skate park. It's on.
Walk up to it. You can walk up.
You can walk right up to it. So one side faces the skate park and city park, and the other side faces the neighbors. And originally we're just going to do one side, but Shay suggested that we do both sides so the neighbors can look across their backyard fence, or if they're walking down that trail that runs along that ditch, they can also see easement and not an ugly shipping container. So it's 2 sides.
On the skate park, park side,
That's baseball here.
Baseball team.
So facing the baseball, the leagues they really prefer to have that baseball theme, so we're gonna stick with that.
Okay.
But the side facing the neighborhood, nature theme is where we're leaning, but the type of nature
Yeah.
is where we're kind of looking.
Yeah, I'm
Like,
just saying, is it something that's, you walk up to, do you touch it, or is it something like you're gonna take pictures of it, like, hey, look at this?
yeah, you can do those, so it's like right there on the ground, you can walk up to it, you can interact with it. So honestly, any of these styles would be really cool. Yes.
So tell us exactly where this is, because I thought it was at Memorial Park, but.
So it's gonna be at City Park on 7th Street,
7th Street.
just across
Parking lot?
at the end of the skate park parking lot. So on Google Earth, you're gonna see a pavilion that used to be a basketball court, now it's a skate park. It's been that way for probably about 15 years. At the end of that parking lot is 2 shipping containers, 2. And they're pushed up against each other, so you're only gonna paint one side of one and the other side of the other one.
Okay, I see.
So which side is gonna be the baseball?
The baseball field, facing towards the parking lot per the lease request. And then the nature thing would be facing towards the trail / neighbors.
So really, the people walking in the trail are from the residents on that side.
Yes.
So that's what I want to know. So, yeah.
Commissioning both sides.
Commissioning both sides. And you would have access to both sides.
Can you see it from Bernie? Can you see it from Bernie Road when you're driving?
Difficult to see it from the road, the main, but you probably could if you were driving and paying attention. You might be able to see a little bit of it because the ditch is so wide. You might be able to see a little bit of it, but the Knights of Columbus or the Casey Hall or whatever that is on the corner is kind of blocking some of it.
And the league uses it for.
Storage of them, I've never been in, they're always locked. And the league uses them for storage of materials. It was something that was agreed upon years ago, before my time. And I've been here 11 years.
Over there.
They have lots of sheds. And I would like, that's probably these 2 shipping containers, but the fact of that is, they're really not hurting anything. And it's a great canvas for Shay to have an opportunity, her group to have an opportunity to make something of this.
I think this is a great idea, because I've run by that area and I do see all of it, having some theme on that side would be just nice.
Yes.
So with that said, I guess, I mean, what do y'all think? I mean, there's 4 things up there. I think the recommendation was the nature one, which I like, it's which I like. I'm not sure. That's right. No, it's all nature. What kind of nature? Animal. I'm sorry.
This 3D thing.
3D is art style that pops out, so it's like, it looks 3D.
Oh, it's not totally, you're not welding things onto the. Okay, that's good.
To remain, so.
It's an elevation. Can we do nature and include animals? Because I thought it'd be nice to have all the benefits that we have being in Sugar Land and having all the parks we have, and all the wildflowers that bring the butterflies and the birds. And I think it'd be nice to show the benefits of living in a town like our city like Sugar Land that's kind of country. And we have we have nature. I get jokingly told by my friends that I don't have a house with a garden. I have a garden with a house. Expanding that idea. So I'd love to see nature with the plants and animals.
But so, but it will be that, so the artist is gonna design and will vote on the actual design, so they can include any element. But when we're talking about these, we're talking about these styles.
Yeah.
They can paint animals or flowers, but what style would you like to see them in, so that we can.
How do we put a vote?
Selection committee.
I got the opinion out this.
Absolutely.
Okay, so my opinion only because it's distance wise, it's hard to see this minute details from that distance. I like the color fun saturated, it can be in that nature animal theme.
Yeah.
That's my big one. So that's what I'm thinking, is because the other animal focus hyperrealism is that sometimes it's more one-sided, sometimes you have to understand, but if you like bold, big, this is nice visually from far places.
Gives a lot of freedom to the artist as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Can you tell us the dimensions again of this?
What are the
One shipping container is 40 foot long, about 10 foot tall. 9 foot to 10 foot tall, 9 foot probably, 9 by 40, 2 sides. So 9 by 40 on one side, 9 by 40 on the other side, 9 tall, 30 wide.
I like the idea of any of these things,
Right.
besides having like humans. And
you were-
plus nature and animals and
Did you want it?
not having actual humans.
Yeah.
Saturation, I also, instead of, I like realism,
The first.
designs of flowers and animals. Because it would be, I think, more effective, because you wouldn't, you're driving by, it's like a billboard, you glance at it and you go, "Oh, beautiful flowers and birds and butterflies, and makes you happy and move on."
Yes, I love it. So are we thinking with color saturation?
I think it's also good because it maximizes the amount of artists, because every artist could probably do something with absolute color saturation, but not as many people specialize in hyper realism.
Absolutely.
That's very,
A good point.
But I like it, I mean, I think I agree with everyone, but also to emphasize, making it bigger in terms of visually. And the brightness of it too. I think we all kind of have the same idea in the conversation lines.
I love it.
Not add one, absolutely. I think it's also opportunity to check off a number box because we are registered on the Morris pledge for pollinators. So we have to report every year and at least 3 action items. One of the action items that they encourage the city to do is to promote art related to pollinators. So if this art can somehow incorporate pollinators, we can check off. They can one stone to bird.
I love it. I love it. I'm very. Well, you know, if you want to come out and attend, the opening of the season for Sugarland Little League is on October 2nd, and that is when the painting will occur and the community engagement event. So it is open to everybody, and that will be the opening of their season as well. So
October 2nd?
October 2nd. Yes, and we'll be sending out promotions around that.
All opening day.
So that is it for me. If you guys have any questions about what we're doing or what we will be doing, I would love to answer those for you.
Any final, go
I
ahead.
just have one question.
Yes.
The traffic boxes are open to just Fort Bend ISD art
Yes,
teachers?
ma'am.
Because I'm an art teacher, but I'm not in Fort Bend.
You know what? Let's talk.
I'm a graduate of Fort Bend, and I've probably been there for years.
Yeah, then another question. In the presentation, there was a slide with bucket tiering or what's it?
Buskers?
Buskers, yeah.
Yeah,
You know, explain that? I had no idea.
I love the bus one day. You saw the music, yeah. No, I know, I watch like beautiful music come from these guys, or girls, or groups of people. You know, you see them standing in the street that's playing music, you know, sometimes you put money out there, but it's beautiful, because sometimes they mix certain like classical things with more relevant stuff and their own, you know, their own style. So you see people just.
Buskers are just street performers who are generally asking for money, but
Yes.
just anyone you see on the street playing some kind of instrument, that's a busker.
And the next part
I've
is,
never heard of that term.
we bring them to Sugarland, they're actually allowing us to pay them a stipend. Buskers usually do not make any money whatsoever. It's not a huge stipend, but we are able to give them something for coming out. So that's a really, really cool thing that we're actually able to pay them to be there. So they can still take tips, but they're not starving to play for the city of Sugarland. So that's a really, really good service.
So thank you. I learned something too, but I wanted to say thank you for all the wonderful art that you do in the city of Sugarland. Oh, gosh, I love it.
Yes, I agree. I second that. If I want to find the information about like music day and where you said like various locations and actually all these events, where can I like find?
Follow us on Instagram. Yes, we're working on our website right now. We're not on the city's website, but it does have extreme limitations, especially for what it is that we do. So updating calendars, things like that, it's a little challenging. So we're hoping to move over to a little microsite on PSL. Once that happens, we'll have a lot more interactive site. But for right now, everything's on our Facebook or Instagram, and it's at SL Civic Arts. And there's a QR code outside too that actually won't charge you.
Great, thank you so much.
Thank you. Rob.
Thank you.
All right. Moving on to the director's report. Mr. Williams. Project will be presenting the parks and topics, upcoming events.
Let me show you and check it, we're going over y'all's topics, good information. So a couple of people have asked, before I dig into the director's report, I got a couple of slides I want to go over, but just so you know, what I don't cover is in the director's report here, and it's a lot of good information on it, including upcoming events. So I don't really go over too much upcoming events because it's in your packet. But I'm basically going to go over the last month of things, activities that we've been working on. Staff's been very busy, but one update to that, that's not in the report really, is the flood. Yes, the river has gone past its channel. It's not past the levee, obviously, and it's not even to the levee. But some of Brazos River Park and Memorial Park are underwater, but not really affecting much other than the bike trails and some of the lower disc golf courses and at Brazos River Park and some of the lower sidewalks. The parks are very much open. They've been open this whole entire time. The only thing we had to really shut down that impacted a few people was the connector road. You can still get to Brazos River Park and Memorial Park. You just have to go different ways. The connector road is something that people really love and got used to using. And unfortunately, we did have to shut it down as a precaution. The water almost got to the bottom of the dip. We've been monitoring it. We're going to open it up as soon as it's safe to do so. Engineering has said that they are possibly expecting a second rise, a crest. And so we're going to monitor that. And we may end up opening the road and then closing it back down, depending on how the modeling looks like. But other than that, the park, Brazos River Park, Memorial Park are open. And yes, Fort Bend Mountain Bike Association will be very busy when the water does recede to fix the mountain bike trails. And thankfully, we're 4.5 years into the 5-year agreement, and they can fix the trails, and Jorge and his guys don't have to do it. So I got a lot to go, but I'll try to go quick. I couldn't leave anything out. Michelle was like, this is a lot. This is long and you talk a lot. So I don't know how this is gonna go. So I hope I'll be short. All right. So after we seeing the Brazos River Connector and Brazos River Park, you can see the folks that are on Coleman and now Caitlin, the coordinator, work really hard with volunteers to do seating every fall. And this is a lot of this is a result of us seeing smartly after construction and because of the fresh dirt. And so that's really coming up at Brazos River Park. Tomorrow, Coleman and Development, Caitlin and I will be presenting to Sugar Land 4B. We have 7 projects that we're going to be presenting to them for funding. They're mostly focused on custom low hanging fruit, I call it, with high impact. And so they look whimsical too. So we're focusing a lot on requests we got in the master plan, the Zen City survey, and the citizen satisfaction survey, which was relief from heat. More exercise and relief from heat. So one of 2 of our projects out of the 7 is Cooling Hub. It's new by Vortex. It includes shade, water droplets. If you push a button, it simulates rain, and it's got solar panels for charging your phone. And they're really cool. This one will get last park. Once we get through design, obviously this is the very early stages, and this is the funding stage. Then we need to go, so we've done the preliminary, we've done the preliminary design, but of course we need to go to design, but it's gotta get funded first, right? And then construction. So these are projects that we hopefully can complete within 8 to 9 to 10 months. And there's 7 of them, and they're in your packet, but they're all focused on really physical fitness and shade. And so shade over the playground at Brazos River Park, 2 cooling hubs, design of a splash pad at Memorial Park. That's not construction, that's just design, because we need to start with design first on bigger projects before we move to construction. And so it took $1.3 million, and we present that to Sugar Land 4B tomorrow. But we have been putting, Emily and her team have put a lot of effort into getting it to this far to Sugar Land 4B. And many conversations with vendors and almost doing the work of an architect and engineer to get it this far. So we're really happy to get some of these projects and momentum for the parks and use Sugar Land 4B funding. And just recently on April 24th, they worked with some volunteers to do some more work at Brazos River Park, and the Texas Naturalists were recommended and awarded Volunteer of the Year by the City of Sugar Land. So they were recognized at City Council just a few, maybe 3 or 4 weeks back. Maintenance has been working really hard, and so sometimes they're overlooked because they're just there and then they're not there, and they make the parks look so good. So they've been working really hard on some some storms that have come through, really loosen some stuff down and basically fixing them before anybody knows that anything even happened. And then bringing lifts and going up really high and being brave and fixing foul ball nets and really fixing it the right way instead of just zip tying it. They really went and took the time to record it and just really do it the right way. And so doing it the right way often takes longer, but we want to do it the right way in Sugar Land. And of course, we're ready for Memorial Day ceremony coming up right around the corner. And so the team is out there working really hard on Memorial Day to make it look good like it always does for Memorial Day. Right as we go to the splash pad at River Park on April 15th, a couple weeks later, so hugely out of nowhere. So the team fixed it, I think within a week. And then they actually put rest blocks here and here to kind of the water handling to stop. Trailblazing, right? So we got to try blue, we got to be inventive. And so thanks to Jorge, who understands water chemistry and water technology, he is a master irrigation. He put water rest blocks, which I didn't even know existed. And he put the pipe to keep it from erecting so much to keep that water handler down, stop it from breaking again. So when we use such a lady, so he went overboard on it. A lot of the team participated in that statement. She's our coordinator. I will see her around a lot. And the reverse vendor expo that the city held, purchasing and then all the city departments participated in, including us, where we got to learn about the vendors, they got to learn about us, and the vendors came to us. We didn't go to the vendors, they came to us. So we sat there in our tables and they came to us and they could spend as much or as little time as they wanted. So reverse vendor fair. We participated in that. Texas Spring Fling, our awesome recreation staff participated in the Texas Spring Fling at Constellation Field, and where they greeted people, they talked about City of Sugar Land Parks and Rec, and they told them all about our upcoming summer activities coming at the rec center. That's Ryan and JP, awesome guys. Okay, so a couple of people have been asking about the senior center project status. So we've been working really hard with the consultant to finalize finalize the cost estimates, looking at what it would take to bring it to the bond election. Looking at maybe a multi-generational center instead of just a senior center, just to think outside the box and kind of trailblaze. And we got some cost estimates as it pertains to that. And as of now, the 65-acre site that we talked about in a Parks Board meeting not too long ago, has some concerns with the airport about noise and or proximity to the airport. So what we did is we worked with the airport and our assistant city manager to come up with a RFQ process that went out to consultants, so we can select a consultant to help us look at that 65 acres and kind of determine what we can and can't do on that land. And so that RFQ process we've ranked and we've selected a consultant for that, and then we're starting the proposal process for that study. That kind of put our airport, that kind of put our project a little bit on hold until we can figure out if that's a viable site for a building or not. So we're kind of on pause on that for now. And the city council was given updates for the bond election, and there's a lot of priorities, and they went over it, and what it's looking like there's potential design funding in the next bond election for the senior center / multi-generational center. So right now, there's no construction funding in the next, as it stands now, there's no construction money in the bond election as it stands now, although there's still a lot of work to be done before the election, before it's called, the bond is called, and then we go to elections in November. But as of now, there's money in there, there's potential funding for design. So we got to get through the RFP proposal process with a selected consultant before we can really figure out if the building can go to 65 acres or we need to look at other opportunities. So we'll keep y'all updated on that. So speaking of art, Shane can probably speak to this better than I can, but they worked really in sync with the T. Harmon Senior Center staff and Heather, Jack, and Kimberly to work with an artist to do a mural on the T. Harmon Senior Center building that looks across to the rec center. So the parking lot that's used both by the rec center and the Harmon Senior Center is now mural on the building of the wall. And I saw the artist working so hard on the lift the particularly who lived every day in the sun, in the cold, in the rain, and worked on it so diligently, and now it's completed, and we really want y'all to go out there. There's more information in your packet about it, but we really want y'all to drive by and take a look at that, and stop in and tell the senior center staff how much y'all appreciate them. They worked so hard over there. I went to the senior center the other day just to check in on them, and they were so busy, and there was people everywhere. And it's probably constant Sandy notes there. I was like, Sandy, it's so busy, you're working so hard, and everybody's appreciating you. And she's like, I know, we're trying. So, and so they work so hard over there, and they would appreciate it if y'all stop by and said hi and compliment them on their work. They're a good partner with Shay and her group on this. Speaking of that, they did take the seniors down, the West Yellowstone County in Missouri. And they went out to eat and had a good day doing the paddle trip. I think there was 40 or 50 seniors that did that. And Sandy, I've been told, is going to miss one of our meetings coming up, our department meetings, because she's taking like 50 or 60 of them on a 2-day trip somewhere. So single-day trip, now 2-day trip. So she's really keeping us seniors busy and keeping them active and motivated and having fun. The special events team, they're always working really so hard on everything. We've got a ton of events coming up, so many. But they did have engineering with the Chimney Star Drainage Improvement Project block party to try to engage the citizens with engineering projects, and that way they're informed and having fun before the projects started. So we're happy with that, because Parks and Rec is more than just Parks and Rec, it's about the city, like Cheryl mentioned earlier. Chef's Fest happened just about a month ago, a month and a half ago. Time flies when you're having fun, and that was really fun at Town Square, just right outside here. A lot of people showed up, they had a blast. Parks Event Series, the last one we had was on the Plaza, recycle fee. And so that was at the Plaza. Of course, we maintain that 3 acres right outside of the Smart Financial Center, so therefore we like to use it for events, art events, and recycling events, and or just having fun events. So this was a combination of all that. The third FBNBA hosted their third annual mountain bike race 2 weeks ago at Brazos River Park Memorial Park. Despite some of the water coming up to the trails. And that's my daughter right there now. And that's her first mountain bike race. She did not know what she was in for. The shoulder, let's go, get your helmet. Why don't I get my helmet? You'll figure it out when we get there. And she said, oh, it looks like that's going to take me for a little fun. And I took a right turn and 3 miles later she finished. And she was exhausted, and then she finished. And she got 11th place out of 19. We're so proud of her. So she wants to do it again, and she said, maybe. So y'all gotta help me convince Ellen to keep doing this with me. But the purpose was all about the kids, although it is focused on the kids. And they use a lot of the South Meadows for the race, but they did get to use Memory Trail. And part of the connector trail that y'all approved about 2 years ago was FBNBA, because it was not flooded. And they made a great race out of it. It didn't rain until after Sunday when the race was over. Kimberly was out there advocating for Parks and Rec. I know Rob, our assistant city manager, came out and supported us. And it was just a great event. It was the third annual, and it was just awesome 2-day event. With that being said, our next bike event is the pump track. Yes, we were told by Blue Solutions that we will host the USA qualifying event on June 7th and 8th. We are the only qualifier in the United States of America for pump track. UCI, Velo Solutions, USA qualifier. If you are 17 and up and you enter this and you get first, second, and third place, you get to go to Worlds. If you get first place, then you are paid to go to Worlds. We don't know where Worlds is at. We have no idea where Worlds is at. We know that if you want to get there, you got to go through us. You know, we are going to make an event out of it. It's going to be a 2-day event. Events, recreation, and maintenance and development are all working together on this. With communications, of course, emergency operations center, police, community, and all kinds of other city departments. And John Evans, that's right. Working on this, we have weekly meetings, and it's gonna be an event, and it's gonna have a kids cup. Yes, it's not just 17 up, we're gonna have a kids cup, and Ella may or may not do it. And it's great, I will be there, I will be there, and we'll all be there, all teams will be there, Saturday and Sunday, with the race being on Saturday, Saturday's practice. and warm ups, and the winner will get obviously a trophy. That's.
Is there gonna be media there?
I don't know if media's gonna be there, but communications is all on it. They're doing it out, and our communications team will at least be there.
The press releases went out today, but yes, the media is gonna do very much aware of it.
I'm sure they will.
That's released out today, Michelle. Okay, and media's there, and communications, of course, is coming up with a communication plan. And yes, there will be a photographer. Yes, there'll be probably drone, and yes, they'll be out there. So it's a 2-day event. Maybe starting Friday night with us, with an open kickoff, and then leading to Saturday and Sunday. We're still working on the details for June 7th and 8th. We're very excited. It's right around the corner. On top of it, the ceremony that we're working on. And of course, June, and then of course, I'm very busy July 4th. Ray Weinberg, that Brian and her team are working already, of course, working on it. We've been working on for many months now. So we've got an exciting spring/summer for y'all. And with that, I think I'll take any questions. Yes.
Russell was number 11, were you 19?
I wish I could say I did it, but I didn't. I was a cheerleader. I'm sweating because I ran from one side to the other, back to the other. And I was trying to keep up with it, and I ran to the water and was like, "You need some water?" And she's like, she had this little like right in the rim. Did you get into? I was like, "It's okay, you keep going." Listen, did I hear you right for the cooling? Yes, there's gonna be 7 proposed. It's all gonna be in Memorial Park. I'm glad you asked, because they're not all in Memorial Park, sir. We try to spread it out across a lot of different parks. Okay. We have the design for Splash Pad Memorial Park. The cooling hub is at 2 parks, Eldridge Park and Brazos River Park that's behind me. Right. And then we've got a shade covering at the new Brazos River Park playground. There is a shade structure at the butterfly, a pavilion, excuse me, at the butterfly garden, because we're lacking shade along the trail, and we need a place for volunteers to take a break in the shade. That pop-up canopy is not really working out very well. And then we have a shade structure similar to what we put up at the pump track, but at Imperial Park, because we got that model down so well and the design down pretty much pat. We want to duplicate some of the work that we've done previously, and then to save some costs, obviously. And then when Heather and Kimberly over at the rec center are proposing the meeting room we turn into a cardio weight room, and the outside area that's not being used at all turn into an outdoor fitness, CrossFit, synthetic turf, outdoor fitness park.
That's cool.
That's probably the biggest of the 7 projects, that one.
Yes.
Followed closely by cooling hubs and then shade structures, and playground shade structure is costly because this playground, we won't be able to cover the entire playground at Bowser Park. The idea is that we're going to try to cover our line as much as we feasibly can. We can't cover that 3-story tower, but we're going to try to cover some other elements and give some parents some relief from the shade.
Great, thank you so much.
Good question.
Other questions or comments?
Excellent. Love you. Love your fast pace, everything. That's easy to keep up.
Yeah, I'm really happy that you've selected all the shade and cooling stuff. That's gonna make such a quality of life difference in the parks. It's gonna be great.
Thank you. I'll make sure to pass that up if we get the opportunity to speak about y'all's comments tomorrow. I'll make sure to mention that. Thanks, Kelsey.
Yeah, Shayla. Shay, William, thank you so much for the presentations.
Yes.
Great, very informative. Appreciate y'all on that. With that said, any other final questions or comments?
That's just a comment again, Sugar Land is moving and shaking and I love it. You know, there's constantly something wonderful to make it a better place to live. And I've been here all my life. I moved with my diaper bag when I was 1, and that was many decades ago.
Following the actual vision.
That's right. I just did that, so exactly right.
All right, with that said, I guess we'll come to conclusion of this meeting, so I'll take motion to adjourn.
I make a motion.
Joe, thank you. Second? Thank you, Andy. So with that said, our board is adjourned.
Yeah.
Hey, good job.